a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
Well, hey, y'all, this is Jeanne Robertson on Derby Day, and I'm sitting here with my Derby hat on, which you will hear more about as we go along. And I'm just glad to have you. This is also an anniversary day. Tony Meredith, starting on May 1st of years ago, started running my office and doing everything for me. And Tony, hey, Patrick, Tony picked up her mic, and then that cord went taut. Right here. Pull your mic, show him. Oh, you got it. You got it. In other words, roll on, roll on. And so happy 43rd. This starts.
We're starting 43rd.
Year
Yeah, starting 43rd years
of running this out, running all of my life. And
yeah,
this
let's
office.
see. Leslie was 7 when we started this, and now she'll be 50 in this year in September. So yeah, didn't really think I'd be doing this when she was 50, but okay.
No, well, did we think we'd be doing it when we are approaching 80?
No.
But we are having a good time. And one of the reasons it's so much fun is y'all. And I appreciate you joining us in every Saturday since last March on a live from the back porch show, even though some Saturdays I'm in the airports or I am driving through Atlanta and whatever. Most of them have been from right here. And we've got a special great show for you playing today. And I think we're going to have a good time. It is Derby Day. We'll get into that in just a second when I bring on our special guest. As we do on every show, we start off by giving away stuff. And so because we have decided in January that we will no longer let them accumulate for every month, we throw them out at the end of each month and we start over. So the names that are in here for the draw have a pretty good chance, much better odds. The prizes will be the same until we give away the audio book. So right now you can choose, you can't get that one yet. You can choose on my book, Don't Bungee Jump Naked and Other Important Stuff, or you can get one of 9 DVDs or one of the same 9 but on CDs. You can get I'm not giving away my purple hat, but I'm giving away Left Brain baseball caps. And what else? Tony, do I have anything else I'm giving away? Sticks from the yard.
No, let's
no more sticks.
No.
You're tired of mailing sticks?
No.
It's a crushing blow when someone wants to stick over your yard over your DVD.
No, DVD, CDs, the hat, and the book.
Okay. So and you choose. And if you want to send it for a gift, if you win today and it's for your mother, Tony, you get it off Monday morning and
yeah, we'll try. I think we can still get them there. The mail's been really, really good this week. I mean, the last couple of weeks. So I would think that anything you ordered today or tomorrow, we will get in the mail on Monday. If you want it signed, Jeanne will sign it, and we'll get it to you. And hopefully, it would make it before Mother's Day.
Okay. Well, a lot of times when we have somebody on, you will say, "When did you meet Mark Lowry? When did you meet Shonda Pierce?" And we've had all of these folks on. Then you have somebody I had never met either one of those people. Then you have a LaDonna Gatlin on, and we've been friends for 25 years. Karen Mills been friends a long time. So this is kind of interesting because Karen Morgan and I met once in person, but have paths have crossed now for years. And when you hear about the many things she does, you'll see why. But where I met her was I opened my front door and there she was because her son was looking at Elon University. Almost went there, but didn't. And I'll have to figure out why. Tony is taking off her derby hat because you figure we're not coming to you again right away.
Well,
here are the names. Here are the people
to me, but that was my
all right. I'm reaching in here,
hat.
And this is our first winner of the day. Got so much telling is Teresa Whitfield. Theresa, Theresa Whitfield. Good time for me to also say your entry gets us confused if you just enter and you say, "Enter me in the draw, Linda," because we may have 40 Lindas in there, that especially toward the end of the month. Here's
I
another
guarantee
name.
you we have 40 Lindas.
Huh?
I promise you we have 40
I
Lindas. There's
promise
no.
we do too. And so that helps us because we don't give away 40. All right, here's another winner right here. Congratulations. And these are people that just Margaret Lane Kinney, Kenney. And this Margaret Lane Kinney is from Simpsonville, South Carolina. And I know right where that is. Of course, I'm in North Carolina. Different class of people, we say, if we have friends here from South Carolina, just to get their goat. You know what I mean. And this will be the third and final one for right now. And then we'll be coming back here a little bit later. Tony, don't let me forget to give them away twice before. It's all your fault. Mary Kay Jones. We don't know where she's from, but she said, have you kept up with the Hank and Lola Gillibard after the infamous Chinese dinner? Well, Hank passed away.
Hank passed away. Lola's still in California and doing well, I think.
So if you ask that question, what the three of y'all do is you go to Jeanne at JeanneRobertson.com. No I in Jeanne, Jeanne Robertson. And then you have a funny name here from me, Mary Kay Jones, Joens. You got that, Tony? Not regular way. Mary Kay Jones, Joens. And
Okay,
so you're
I've
like
got it.
me saying there's no I in Jeanne. How many times do you spell your name for people spell like that? What was your mama thinking? Okay, when she married him, is that it? No, I don't know. Or you might have married Joens. I've never had a Jones that spelled it that way. Well, that's the first time.
Maybe she'll
And
tell us
now I
where
want
her
to
name came
introduce,
from.
when I opened that door here and there she stood and came in and I could have spent all afternoon talking to her, is our guest from, well, this is interesting, from Maine, Cumberland, Maine now, but she went to the University of Georgia, grew up in Athens, and then got a law degree down there somewhere. So will you welcome, please, Karen Morgan. Yay, Karen. I love your derby hat.
I'm so excited I can wear my hat. Look, here's the feather on the top of it. So I'm so excited to wear. Happy Derby Day, everybody.
We just can't sit here in these hats all day. After a while, I'm going to have to take this thing
Looks
off.
like your hat's.
My hair's mashing down. It's okay though. We're gonna be
I
fine.
know I can do it.
Looks like your hat's giving directions.
I went through the names of the horses that were running, and I found the one that I would bet on if I were betting. I don't know how to do that, and but I don't go by what they've won, who are their ancestors, what their pedigree is, what they all think the trainer's going to do. I go by the name. So just being funny, I said, I've got my pick a while ago on the phone. And I said, you said, I've got it too. And I said, well, who do you think's going to win? It's the same horse. Maybe people in humor just do that. So tell them what the name of the horse is.
We both like soup and sandwich. I just think that's we're like, what do we name this horse? Well, I like soup and I like sandwiches. We're going to name it Soup and Sandwich. I just think it's hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think they're trying to get Southern women to bet on him. That's why they're choosing it.
Probably right. Now, let's get this straight, because all week long, and look at these. Hey, from Castleburg, Kentucky. Tony's coming through. Can I hold my microphone any closer? Can you turn me up, Patrick? Because this thing's already on my lips. And is that better,
Y'all
everybody?
tell us how the mics are. We can't hear from here.
Tony's mic is a lot louder than everybody else's, so we'll speak up here. I can see the questions on the board.
Yeah.
But when I said send questions in for Karen Morgan, I knew what the question was going to be when it came in. I could have saved myself time. So I don't know how many of you asked this question, but the question is, if you grew up in Athens, Georgia, and then you went to the University of Georgia, woo, 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 go dogs. Ooh, ooh,
Go dogs.
go dogs. One dog or dogs?
Dogs.
And then you went to law school, and then you went to Maine. There's no reasonable explanation. I have nothing against Maine. I've spoken there. The people are lovely, but you never know what they're saying. But what? take us through that process. And now you're not a lawyer, you are in comedy.
Full time. So the short answer is true love. That the only reason you would take a second bar exam, you've already passed the bar in Georgia, you're practicing law in Georgia, everything's fine, and then you have a blind date, and then you move to Maine and you take a second bar exam. That's when I knew it was true love. It wasn't the moving part, it was the second bar exam. So I met my husband on a blind date here in Maine, and I moved up here 6 months after the day we met. And then we got married a year to the day that we met, that September. And we are about to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary this year. So it was true love.
Congratulations.
You had a blind date in what state?
In Maine. So
why were you up in Maine?
Well, he's from Boston, and he went to college in Maine, and he was actually building a house for my aunt and uncle. And for 2 years, my aunt tried to set me up with him. And for 2 years, I kept saying, well, that's just the saddest thing I would ever have to go all the way to Maine for a date. And
and he hadn't even been to Georgia again.
No, I was practicing law in Atlanta, and for 2 years, she's like, our builder's real cute. You really should meet him. And then 2 years later, I guess I was desperate enough. I had to go way across up the other end of the Appalachian Trail to meet my husband, but it worked out fine. I'm still here.
But I know what you mean. Pardon me, y'all, for calling. But the bar exam. And are there different laws in Maine than there are in Georgia?
Well,
we don't get political, but I'm just saying, is there a different group of laws up there than there are down here?
No, they're similar. I mean, anytime you take a bar exam, you take a multi-state portion of the exam, and then you take the specific state portion of the exam. So I had to learn a few things about Maine. There weren't any great differences. The bigger difference was practicing law in Atlanta versus practicing law in Maine, because I was a criminal defense attorney, and the crimes are very different. In Maine, I was doing like murders and really like high-end blue-collar crime. And up here, y'all, and I'm not even making this up, my first case.
In Alabama, you were doing murders. Georgia, you were doing murder.
Georgia, I was doing. So when I moved to Maine, my first case was a one-armed shoplifter, and I'm not even making. So it's crime in Maine is hilarious. It's interesting to work here. But anyway,
they probably just put it in their bag while they were reaching for their wallet and got busted.
Well, that was the whole thing. She said, I can't control it, and sometimes it just sweeps things off into my bag. And I said, okay.
Well, I would imagine there's not one law in Georgia that has the word moose in it, but I bet there's one in Maine.
There is a law in Georgia that has llama in it, because I had to study the law. There's a Georgia law about being a llama herder or something. Anyway, we don't have any llamas in Maine. We got a lot
I studied for the bar exam for 4 years in college, but it was a different bar. Did not do me any good.
No, but I asked you earlier, because writing material and gathering material, I don't have the ability to take a blank sheet of paper and just write a story. I have to see something and I have to hurry to my tablet, as these people know. But I asked you if you wrote every day, and you tell me what you did and all that, and they'd be interested in that. But I hope you're using whatever you can legally use and not get in trouble. I haven't heard you do any material on being a lawyer and the difference between Georgia and Maine.
No, I have quite a bit of it, but you're right. There are certain rules. You can't use specifics, but I can talk about generalities and things that I do that are very interesting. And I also say that I used to be a trial lawyer, and now I'm a comedian, which is a lateral move on my resume. So.
And maybe a pay cut. Perhaps. Now, what you could really do when it runs dry is move to California and figure out their rules. And I'm not getting into politics, but I'm just saying, you move around this country, and we states' rights, you can have whatever rules you want. Let me ask, these people have sent some questions into the smiley bucket.
Good.
Once you've been, a convention speaker or banquet speaker or anything else, there's nothing in your home that is really purchased. it's gifts. And this was the centerpiece in Florida. And it was great because they had beautiful velveteen flowers sticking out of it. And I'm like, I started eyeing the centerpiece when I sat down. And they said, someone at the table can have the centerpiece. Oh, that bucket. So here's a question. And these are sent in by my wonderful buddies who there's right here. Happy Derby Day. I love purple. I'll have to tell you where I got all this idea. Jefferson City, Missouri. Okay. This question is from Jeanne Black, Oxford, Alabama.
We love Jeanne.
Right. We love Jeanne Black. As a trial lawyer, did you ever get spoken to by the judge for being funny? Then he says, do you have any great trial stories that you just can't tell because of confidentiality? But I mean, has the judge ever had to call you up there and say, excuse me, but you're not here to entertain?
Well, I always tell people the order that I became a comedian was after that, but there's a step in the middle. So I was a trial attorney for a long time. And then I had 3 kids in 3 years, and then I went to comedy. So I didn't get funny till much later.
So they did not know about birth control in Maine.
They don't have it, apparently.
They don't have it.
You don't have a TV?
We got nothing. We got no books. It's all crazy.
I'm surprised you could smile again after 3 kids in 3 years.
Well, this is why the comedy happened. I literally had to get out of my house once a week. That's why I'm here. So
our kids were all in like they're all summer birthdays, August, and she still looks at me with disdain for making her be pregnant all the way through the summers.
I understand. I agree.
Okay, well that does that. Did you raise your hand, Tony?
This is off the subject, but someone just told us that Soup and Sandwich is owned by the granddaughter of condensed soup inventor and Campbell's Soup, and it is named in honor of her grandfather.
Oh, well, of course.
Mary Hustler told us that.
They should have named it Trust Fund.
Okay. Yeah.
Just wanted y'all to know
Patrick, that's funny. You should have named her Trust Fund. So, Tony, I'm just going to test your memory now. Oh, no. Okay. When I was in school, the president of the student body had been a Chi Omega. I was not in that group, and you weren't either. That Sally was her name, and she married a veterinarian named Hill.
Oh.
And they wound up.
I know who you mean, but I don't remember her.
And she was president of the women's student government, and I was too, but I was right behind her, but she was very nice to me. And they happened to have a horse that Keeneland turned down. I talked to you about this older. I was telling you about this but Keeneland, that this is never going to be a racehorse. And they brought him in he operated on him or something and got a portion of the horse known as Seattle Slew and then won the Triple Crown. So
that's true. That's the only horse I know of with an Auburn tie.
Okay. So well, good. We got them out there, but you're wrong.
Won the Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown, but plenty of Kentucky winners had, because I Googled it this morning.
Yeah. No, I meant the one. There aren't many Triple Crown winners.
So my question would be, so you're sitting there with 3 children, but I won a pageant. And then they said, tomorrow you go to a town and speak. Okay, great. You will do this every day. You will make 2 and 3 speeches a day. What made you say, did you just say, I got to get out of this house? I know someone who will come and take care of these children because she's never been here before. What?
Water the children. I'm gone.
I know. And you just wandered around till you found a group of people that would listen to you. I mean, I got to fill in the hole here.
Well, I actually, there was a comedy class that was being offered at the local comedy club. And again, it was just literally me having a night out. I'm like, that sounds like fun. I mean, it could have been cooking. I'm sure my husband still wishes it had been cooking, but I went down there and then
you just had to get out of the house.
I literally, 3 under 3. It was a lot. There was a lot going on. So I'd have gone and parked in an empty Denny's parking lot and just sat there. It was just anything, but I did it. And then my teacher for that class sent my videotape in to Nick at Night Search for the Funniest Mom in America. And all my material, because I had these kids, was about being a mom. So I became a finalist in that. And that's kind of how I started out in comedy. Sort of accidentally. I didn't really know that was what I was going to do, but that was 2005 and I'm still doing it.
Okay, so what, being a finalist in America's Funniest Mom, what did that lead to? Did that, it's bound to have helped you, but in what form?
Well, what that led to was I met 2 other moms that were in the finals. There were 7 of us all together. And I was watching the Blue Collar Comedy Tour at the time. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if we did this sort of tour for moms? It would be kind of a great thing to do. So I got a couple of them and we went out on the road and we started doing theater shows. And so that led to me meeting those nice ladies and funny ladies. And we went out and started touring theaters after that.
So you didn't come the same background I came, but we missed that step where you were in comedy clubs and you didn't know if they were going to throw their drink on you or they were waiting on you to curse or waiting on you to be sexually innuendos coming out and all of that. Same thing.
Yeah, it was similar.
Go, girl.
Yeah.
Now, where are the other 2? Do you keep in touch?
Oh, absolutely keep in touch. And, it's interesting because this business, once you start in it, it's hard to not do it anymore. So one of the moms I keep in touch with more than the other, but, we had a nice 5 years of doing that. And then at that point, I had to come home and sort of be home more. I was gone one time for like 10 days and my husband, I walked in the door and he just held up his hand. He said, "This is now the number of days you can be gone." Because he was working.
Tell you by your first name, it's time to come home.
It's time to come home.
You said something so true. You said, once you start this, it's hard to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think the people that follow this show in the last 2 or 3 weeks, we've been telling stories. I've been telling new material and they'll write my punchlines. Patrick will throw in the punchline, Tony, but they can sense how much we like it. But this year we haven't been able to be on stage.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Do you work virally? Virtually. I don't even work at all. I can't say.
I'm viral right here. No, I've been doing Zoom shows. I do them right here in my office here in Maine, and it's just not the same. I'm happy to do them because it's better than nothing, and I feel like everybody needs laughter wherever they are, whatever's happened, and it's important to do it. But you miss a little bit of that energy exchange when you're live, and you have people, and you get energy from the audience as you give it to them. So I do miss that.
Well, I feel very lucky to have done all of these things. Let's see the questions. I see these questions going by, but people are saying if they bought tickets, and this has been a mess, but I don't have to handle it. Yes, Patrick, do you have a question? Oh, look up. It's so hard because she's on the floor on a big TV screen in front of me, but when I talk, I'm supposed to be looking up.
But let me do a question off of here.
Okay.
Is Karen doing any shows in Maine this summer?
This summer, I do have a local show on June the 12th, but it's not just me. I'm doing a big show, though, in November at the Gracie Theater. That's up in Bangor, and that will be a full one-woman show on November 11th. It's a Thursday night. So
Donna Murphy asked. Donna's always on with us, and she lives in Maine.
Oh, great, Donna! Come. And if anybody wants to know, I'll be putting all these shows on my schedule on my website.
Okay, and the website is. I'm reminded of the time I asked Jerry to please help me. Then he's known as Left Brain by all of us. Please help me get a creative. I had been to the National Speakers Association, and they say your website name should tell what you do, blah, blah, blah. And so he said, well, let me think about it. And he came back and said, how about JeanneRobertson.com? So, Karen, with your left brain husband, too, what is the name of your website?
It is KarenMorgan.com.
Boy,
they think alike. They all think alike.
Well, Patrick Henry was taken.
I know it.
By that old guy.
No, by a number of high schools.
He messed with my search engine optimization.
I know it, Patrick Henry in Virginia. Okay, here's a question from Rosalind Forsyth. I love the 50 clip. Oh, turning 50.
Yes.
What you do after? What was the title of that clip?
Well, I think it was after 50, you don't care anymore.
That's right. Okay. How did you get from the courtroom to the comedy club? From this is somebody from Albany, Georgia, and she has to add, "Go Dogs."
Oh, thank you. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. So,
Tony? Did you see? I think I threw it in here. It may come up. We had a very nice comment yesterday from a lady who said they had just finished the first day of the NFL draft. And did I notice how many Alabama
Well, it was
players?
record breaking, but do we have to
Record-breaking.
talk? We don't have time.
And she
I don't
writes
think we
me
have time
this.
to talk about
Do
that
you
today.
care?
I just don't think
Do
that's
you care?
appropriate for a clean show.
Karen, do you care?
I
How
don't
many
like-
of Alabama's players going
No,
to
I'm a college football fan. I grew up going to Georgia games when I was a baby, and I don't care about pro football. I just don't.
You care about Alabama football?
Oh no, that's
No, I didn't even pre-ask that. I just knew. See,
No.
that's what Georgia fans and Auburn fans have in common. We both don't like Alabama, and yet I have great Alabama friends. Carol was on a while ago, and Carol McAdams from Alabama, and she's a big. She knitted me a prayer shawl. She saw me and thought I wasn't doing well. And no, where is it? It's usually out here.
We just keep it at the football stadium now.
And yeah, thanks. And she said she had to go way out of Tuscaloosa to ask for burnt orange.
From
Shelby, where
Sheffield.
she is, but she said you didn't even I said you wouldn't find any burnt orange in Tuscaloosa. Okay, there's that. And then, oh gosh, I don't want to give out of time. I want you to sing. I asked you to pick a song that's from the South.
We got plenty of time.
Oh, we got
Okay,
plenty of
good.
time.
All right, here is Joanne Milano. So, I like people write like I do. So, like we were in the middle of a sentence. Today I flew to Charlotte, North Carolina from New York City to visit family.
New York City.
New York City. The first non-family member I met reminded me that he went to Alabama, and he immediately said, "Roll." I can't say it. What is it? Roll.
That thing they say. Yeah.
And I replied, "War Eagle," which I learned from watching Jeannie. From his reaction, I finally realized the intensity and importance of this rivalry. I'm sorry, but you know it's SEC football.
Hey,
Okay, that was Joanne
we got
Milano.
a convert there in New York.
Okay, and let's give away another prize right here.
So, okay, before you do that, Karen, several people want to know if you are still a practicing lawyer.
I'm not practicing, but I'm still licensed. I still keep my license current. I do my CLEs every year. As a matter of fact, I just did some last week because they were due on the 30th and I was behind. So I keep both my licenses current. So yes, but I'm not trying cases or anything like that because I don't have time to do both well.
Okay, so I'm sensing that you're really smart.
Well,
I mean,
Yes, I am. Go ahead. Karen.
No, I just sense that. I mean, have we had anybody else in humor that came in here and said, "Oh, well, I picked up that little law degree"? Well, you didn't say it like
We
that.
hadn't had a lot of real smart people up
I
till
know,
now.
that's what we
I'm
have.
kidding, Mark.
Who are you talking about?
I'm joking.
Okay, here's another winner right here. And it's Linda Glenn. Again, don't know where it's from. So if you just want to change your name to Linda Glenn today, you too can be a winner. But this is what she wrote. Another person you are introducing me to. Can't wait until Saturday. Great. So when people are meeting you, and so they could even go to KarenMorgan.com and they could go to your videos and watch them all. And your video numbers would pick up a few. Am I reading this correctly? Is that possible?
That would be great.
Work. I'm telling y'all to do that because she's got
Okay.
some.
But also, Karen, you have a podcast you may want to tell them about.
Yeah, I have a podcast, and I always have to tell people to start out with, it's not supposed to be funny, so don't go to it thinking it's really a comedy podcast. It's called the Purple Bike podcast. And it's about how we grew up in the 70s and 80s and what funny hair we had and what songs we listened to and what movies we were watching. It's sort of a nostalgic look back at the years of 1975 to 2015, because I got my first purple bike when I was in the 5th grade in 1975, and I got my second purple bike in 2015. And so this is the 40 years between those two purple bikes. I go through and talk about what the pop culture was and what our music was. And it's just kind of a fun, nostalgic look at back at memories, fun memories.
I've listened to one of them. I watched one, and I was expecting it to be funny, and you really grabbed me in. It was more like NPR or something. You were telling all these things. So I got my first tricycle, and that would be 46. Or 47. So I'm way ahead of you. I think that's another one of your great ideas. So smart, as Terry Schiffman just said, smart and funny. And I said, I would agree with that.
Thanks.
Okay. So you also have run. You ran a comedy festival. See, I've never been in one of those. I don't see myself in those for 5 years.
Well, I was the producer for it's the Nantucket Comedy Festival, which was a nonprofit fundraising comedy festival. I've done a lot of comedy festivals around the country, which I enjoy doing, but this one I actually produced for 5 years and had a great time. I started out as a performer there, and then the producer left and they said, Karen, would you be interested in doing it? And I was like, sure, I'll do it. So I did that for 5 years, and just a great chance to meet other comics and go to Nantucket for a couple weeks in the summertime. And but now I'm doing my own full-time comedy of my own stuff right now. So it's I need a clone. I need several clones right now.
Oh no, you got to keep it. You're special in this world. You found your many niches.
Yeah.
And you are. Do you mind my asking how old you are?
Oh, not. I'm proud. I'm 57 this year, so
Okay.
I'm happy. And
No way.
No way.
Well, let me ask you the most important thing. Do you know Charles Barkley?
I know who he is. I don't know him
You
personally.
do?
I know who he is.
Who is he?
Charles Barkley, the
Uh-huh.
basketball player.
The funny basketball
Yeah,
player.
he's hilarious. He was.
Now, let me think. Where did he go to school?
Oh, let me think.
Well, it could have been Auburn. He would be somebody I would love to interview because he's so funny.
He's hilarious. Yeah.
But so far, I have had no one on the show who knows him personally who can help me do that.
Well,
So-
my friend Vic Henley did. I think Vic knew him, and sadly, Vic
Vic died.
Vic passed away, and so now we got to figure out how to meet Charles Barkley without Vic somehow.
Well, I'm working on it, but he is so funny. Everybody's a fan. So I'm trying to put the numbers together here because we've all come about this differently. If you're 57
Mhm.
and you had all those children, and then you were practicing law, and then you went into, how many years have you been doing comedy?
Since 2005. So what I have to do yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 21 years. I mean, 16 years.
No.
Okay. I went to Auburn.
That part of my brain doesn't work. I'm
No,
the
it's
other
like
side.
17 years. I was married in 2004.
Okay. Well, good. Okay. So
I know how long I've been married.
Oh, you have, but 205. Okay, so it's just tell me how many years you've been doing this, y'all.
We'll say 17, 18. How's that?
17.
Okay.
17.
You just don't know what's ahead of you. No, you really don't. Was it July 11th of this year? Is July 11th, I think, is the first time I had to sign a contract to speak and start it. Before then, I just been getting rotary pens.
1963.
63. So it's been 57,
Right
something
after
like
you
that.
were Miss North Carolina.
But I'm trying to think back where I was. So the point is that you'll be doing things that we hadn't even thought of yet.
Exactly.
And that's great. I don't think it's ever too late to be funny.
No, it's not. No, and also I don't think you have to be of a certain age to sort of let stuff go. You also, in order for your comedy writing, you have to have life experience to write about. And so I think I am better now in comedy than I would have been had I started when I was 20. So I'm totally happy. Yeah.
When I was 19, and what did I really know? Going around the state of North Carolina telling, keep a sense of humor. 19 years old telling adults. And I remember, Patrick, you wrote that song about turning 40.
No, it was a poem.
A poem about
look
turning
back from
40,
40.
and I'm thinking he doesn't even know what I'm talking
I know.
about.
Well, it starts off with "I don't want to take a nap," and it ends 40 years later with "I just want to take a nap."
That's
know.
all it is. Take a nap.
Hey, speaking of song, will you sing a Southern song
Yeah,
for her while we all take a
Okay.
breather?
sure.
By that, I mean, we're sitting here listening, but we're going to have a swallow of whatever, Coca-Cola.
I got my
or
cocoa.
North Carolina, Pepsi.
So this is a song I wrote about I used to watch Cops a lot, the television show, and it was based in Nashville. This particular episode, and it showed a beautiful female police officer arresting a drunk guy he was down Printer's Alley, I believe it was, and they started wrestling around, and she was trying to get him on the ground, and I was just enraptured with this beautiful female police officer, so I wrote a song about her. Going 90 miles an hour in a 55 zone. I didn't see it coming. I thought I was alone. Blue light started flashing. I did not know what to do. Then I watched the scene unfold before my eyes, and my review pulled me over to the curb. She got out of the car, 6-shooter on her hip. On her chest she wore a star. Long blonde hair stretched in a ponytail. I thought this was a cop. I wouldn't mind escorting me to jail. Officer Louise, I'm as guilty as can be. Won't even try to plead. Come on, let's go downtown. Better handcuff yourself to me so I don't get out. Cuff me, stuff me, throw away the key. She walked over to my window. I was sitting there a-wishing, even did her the favor of assuming the position. Anticipation written all over my face. She looked at me and said, "Sir, you are a disgrace, but this is your first offense. I'll issue you a warning. Officer, can't we talk about it in the morning? I was hoping for a different verdict, better than this. I can be a little dangerous. I think you better frisk." Officer Louise, I'm as guilty as can be. Won't even try to plead. Come on, let's go downtown. Better handcuff yourself to me so I don't get out. Cuff me, stuff me, throw away the cuff me, stuff me, get a little rough with me. Cuff me, stuff me, throw away the key. Well,
Yay, Patrick. Isn't that funny? He writes those songs.
That was great. That was
I
awesome.
love Officer Louise. We have
Thank
been
you.
corrected by someone. I need to make a correction.
Oh.
You corrected me over my pop-up the other night. You corrected me on what I said on Neil Steele's show.
Yes.
I said that I had met Lou the Toe Grosser,
And that is his nickname.
and he was the top kicker for everything.
Right.
Lou the Toe,
And you said how nice he was.
and he
that
was very
all.
nice.
It was actually Neil, I think, who said what was incorrect.
Okay, that he had half a foot. No, he did. I
6
mean,
inches.
Not Lou
No.
Groza.
no, but it wasn't Lou Groza. It was
Tom Dempsey. was
Tony knows
Kicker with
all this
half a
stuff.
foot. Well, I,
So I mean, I got hung up from
Me-
doing a
me and-
1 hour radio show every Friday, and she said, "Mistake, mistake, mistake."
well, me and Google know a lot.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me pull out and add some more questions right here. And this one is from. Okay, this is going. Oh, we had another correction from Tammy Martin. She said that. Remember, I said I'm from Auburn. I don't know the numbers. She said no, it's not that. Comedians don't know the numbers, so not Auburn. I apologize, Tammy. Very good pickup. Okay, Donna Murphy from Maine.
Yay!
Okay. What was Karen's biggest culture shock when she moved from Georgia to Maine?
Oh Lord. Well, Mostly that there's no Waffle House here.
They're flapjacks.
No, I have to start with food. You can't order sweet tea in restaurants. I mean, you can. They just, and my husband finally told me stop ordering it. They don't have it. Like, just stop. But the weather is obviously. I'll tell a story about the first time I had a court appearance. It was in April. And it snowed, and I just told my husband, well, certainly they won't have court today. It's snowing, and he said, no, they have it every day. It's Maine. We continue our businesses. So I was like, what do I put on my feet? It was snowing and snowing and snowing. So he said, you put your snow boots on that he'd bought me, and then you carry your nice shoes in your briefcase. So I did that. I got to the courthouse, and I was late because I didn't know how to drive in snow. And then I ran into the courthouse, and I realized on the way running in, I had dropped one of my shoes somewhere in the snow along the way. So I had one nice pump shoe and 2 snow boots on my feet, LL Bean boots. And then I thought, well, I can just put on one and stand. Maybe I'll put my other foot behind me and they won't notice I have one shoe. And then I looked around the courtroom, y'all, and everybody had on LL Bean snow boots, including the judge. And I was like, I'm home. I just love this so much. So you have to learn how to dress properly, but everybody's a little forgiving. So it's nice.
I thought you were going to lead up to, and this is where I get punchlines when somebody say, if you had one shoe and you put it on, and then the judge would say, so what part of the South are you from? They always say, well, so she also says, has Karen ever traveled to the county? I now know from watching your clip about words that are said and how you got that great comedian. He came on and said them the way people from Maine say them. And what is this? It's 2:30 in Tasmania, Australia on Sunday morning. I get the sweet tea request in culture shock. I came here from Texas 34 years in August. I always say, how do they get the sweet sugar out of the tea? Doesn't it come with the tea? So has Karen ever traveled to the county? And what that is?
Yes, I have been to the county. And what's interesting is that Maine only has 16 counties. And, I grew up in Georgia, and we have 120 something that I had to memorize at some point. But the county is Aroostook County, which is the most northern county in Maine. It borders.
Say it again.
Aroostook.
Aroostook.
For y'all, it'd be Aroostook. It'd be Aroostoo. Aroostook County. And it's way up there. And yes, I have been there several times.
Okay. Well, this guy that you brought in, all of those funny words were it. And it says, have you ever traveled to the county? Donna Murphy from Maine. But his words, some of them, when he would say them, if you had not said the way we pronounce it first,
right,
I would not have understood what he said.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I tell the story about when I had kids, because that's my friend John Ader, who I love dearly. He was in my first comedy class. That's how long I've known him. He's very funny. But learning to talk here, like the first week I lived here, we went out to dinner. And my husband and I with some people, and this man next to me ordered a PBI. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I want to fit in with the locals. I'll have a PBI too. I didn't know what a PBI was.
All right, hold on. Do you know what a PBI?
PBI?
No, I don't.
I know what a PB&J is.
No. Okay. No, we don't know.
No. So it was a PBI. And the lady came to me, and I said, well, I'll try one of those PBIs. That sounds great. So she came, y'all, and she put it down on the table. And it was a Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. It was a PBR. And it was PBI. So, and my kids can do both accents. They can do me quite well. And my youngest, who was born during the Kentucky Derby, I got to tell that story. But he can do both. He can do both accents real well.
So they're bilingual.
Exactly, they're bilingual.
Okay. Was he born doing the 18-hour show of all the hats and things, or
he was born
in labor, and then right in that 2-minute period or something, he came out?
I was in the labor and delivery room, and he was the third one. So, I drove myself to the hospital that day. Yeah. And I walked in and I immediately requested the drugs. By the time you have 3, I want them, just give them to me now. So I was watching the Kentucky Derby on the television in the delivery room and having him all at the same time. And my story is that now Seabiscuit's turning 19 this weekend. So it was a very interesting thing. So we always celebrate Derby Day because it's Seabiscuit's birthday. And we're real excited to have him with us. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, somebody just put a comment that I saw, and I don't have the name. But this person said, "You are a great," or she said, "She is a great." I changed it. A great example of living your dreams and going for something, no matter what age you are.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I believe
You
that.
go, girl.
Yeah,
You go,
that's
girl.
right.
I'm not sure who did it.
Yay.
Okay, let's get another question because they sure sent them in this week. And
Got
this
a lot of people
question,
from Australia tuning
I
in.
know that.
Don't you people sleep?
Well, I'm from Australia, lived in South Carolina. When I went to Clemson University, sweet tea was a culture shock. I never came around to it. Tea should be hot and unsweetened. Ha, ha, ha.
No.
Well, I know. Okay, well, here's another question, and it is from Sue Church. Sue Church from Wisconsin. Just for fun, can any of you ladies or Patrick say toy boat 3 times fast? How would you say toy boat in
I don't know.
Maine?
It's gonna make you cuss.
Well, I say it's, toy boat, toy boat, toy boat. But that's me.
That wasn't tough.
Yeah, I can't do a Maine accent. I just can't do it. So
I can't do a Yankee one. I've tried. I did a story and taped it too early, and it just wasn't that funny because I thought I was doing a Northern New York accent, and I wasn't. All right, here I go. Toy boat, toy boat, toy boat.
I think
But Sue, you've asked a pro.
toy boat, toy boy.
I can't do it. But Sue, you've asked a pro here. Excuse me. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. This is backwards. Bun, seeds, sesame, onions, pickles, cheese, lettuce, sauce, special patties, beef, all 2. Don't fool with me, Sue Church.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, another question.
Before we go too far, they want to know, is your son's name really Seabiscuit?
I didn't know what to say on that.
So
I know they're talking about a horse. I know who Seabiscuit is.
Seabiscuit was while we were having him, I'm like, because we weren't really sure what we're going to name him. And I'm like, well, maybe we'll see who wins this race. And War Emblem won that year. So I was like, that's a terrible name. So his name
is mighty close to War Eagle.
Seabiscuit's a lot better.
Yeah, it's not as good as Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit. You said that, and I thought, what is she talking about? I don't know where to go with that. And I left, so I'm glad y'all wrote. See, my people are
Soup
quick
and
on
Sandwich wasn't winning that year.
Oh, there's one this year that's something Charlie. What is it? It's a very funny names. Hot Rod Charlie. Hot Rod Charlie.
The name of a car? A horse?
Yeah, that's this year. Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon, and Bourbonic. There's some fun ones in there, but Soup and Sandwich is still my favorite one.
I think so too. We're on it.
Bourbonic
So this is not the question, and I'll read this one in a second. But the other one was, have any of us ever been to the Kentucky Derby?
No, but I want.
Been. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I did go with Jane Tucker. We went because we were in Louisville, and we went to Churchill Downs, and we did the tour, and they took you down right where the horses ran right by you. And I'm going to tell you, the power of the horses that ran right by you was just astonishing when you were right there next to them. But that's on my bucket list to do.
I've been to plenty of steeplechase. In Nashville, they had steeplechase, which was
they had that in South Carolina.
A huge drunken party where horses ran by every now and then.
Okay.
So
I have been to the Atlanta one, and our bucket list at our house is when Seabiscuit turns 21, and we can all legally drink as a family together. We're going to go to this.
That'd be fantastic. That would be fan. So Seabiscuit is the last one, the one that's going now. When he goes down to College of Charleston, is that where he's going?
That's where he's going.
His gap year with his realtor's license in his pocket. Would he tell him his name is Seabiscuit?
His name is Mac. Is his name. So
they
if
don't
we got
call him
Seabiscuit and Beaver
SB.
together, we could have heck of a conversation.
Our son's name is, everybody calls him Beaver. And I said, when you went to his first school, this would be a good time. He viewed that as a way to see the nation. Hey, if this would be a good chance to change your name and just you go with your regular name rather than Beaver. And he said, Mom, everybody knows who you are right away. And he got there, and there was a girl in the class whose last name was Beaver, and they called her that and he said, there's another one in my same class. He didn't like it at all.
Hey, Beaver.
All right.
Yeah, because Beaver, if his name wasn't Beaver, he would never stand out. He would just blend
Oh, I know
in.
it. That's 6'8".
6'8".
Oh, Beaver's our guest next weekend. He's coming here Mother's Day
Oh,
weekend.
yay.
I'm not cooking, but he's coming here. I'm not, why would you do
Your day.
something you
It's
never
your
do?
day. Your
I know
day.
it. Shirley Rockwell Johnson. Sounds like a picture. My mom and I got to go to the Derby back in the late 90s. It was something she had always wanted to do. How many times? Well, how many times have you been? This is that question. My mom is gone now, and I miss her. I love you. I don't know whether she's talking to me or you, because you are Southern like my mom. Well, she's talking to you. With me, she just said grandmother. So
Yeah, I just was thinking she's what, 57, Karen said?
Yeah.
I'm 77.
Well, I've been married longer. I mean, she could be mine.
Okay. Oh, yes. Easily. Okay. Now, how much time do we have? I don't want to give out. Purple, Jean, hi, Jen Clark, hi, Norma Rodriguez. Dozens of our trips to Churchill Downs as a child growing up. Now she's rolled off the screen.
That's okay.
In Indy.
You were
as
going
an
to give a
adult.
couple more prizes.
I do want to give a couple more prizes, because as much as we think they love us here, Karen, and I do love them, I'll tell you, here's my draw. I was in the women's restroom in Winston-Salem speaking at a banquet, and I was in the stall, and two women came in, and they said, are you staying for this woman speaker? Putting on makeup. And the other one said, we have to. They're giving away a TV, and you have to be present to win. They don't give it away till she finishes talking. I could have come out of the stall a lot earlier, but I hid in there. Now I would come out and say, what did you say? I'm the speaker. Okay, this is a prize winner right here. And she gave her town, Shirley Douglas Lipsey, Lipsey, from Palatka, Florida. Tony, that's the correct way to say it. Well, Georgia, Palatka, Florida.
I don't know Palatka, Florida, but
I think that's the way you say it.
Yeah,
Palatka,
right.
Florida.
That's how I would say it.
Well,
Palatka.
have y'all noticed, if people don't know things, how quiet it gets on this porch? It's like I'm out here by myself.
We're working. We're busy.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Well, here's another prize right here. What do you want to make sure that you say? Oh, I've got you. I got this prize in my lap. Here's another question for you. I'll make sure to get all of these in. And here is a question. Oh, this is from Sherry Harris.
Well, she gets to ask questions.
I know. She comes all the time.
We let
Sherry
ask
H. and Flynn, Flynn, named after my favorite humorist.
That's
and
her
Sherry's
new puppy.
Her puppy is named after me. My middle name is Flynn. And Sherry, you make the airline reservation next Thursday. I'm taking Isley to the airport, the Greensboro High Point Winston-Salem Regional Track at Piedmont International Airport, if she needs to go back to Branson this is an Elon student. I aim to please. Hey, Sherry, that was not a question. Okay, here is a prize. Kim Bradsher.
Spell the last name, please.
Bradsher, Bradsher.
Sher. Ser.
Ser.
Doesn't matter.
From Dardenne Prairie, Missouri.
Okay.
Okay, now this is what she wrote. Tony and Patrick, decipher this.
Oh.
And then how would the humorist decipher this? The little lamb wore diapers for 2 months after she was born. We took her to Target several times until we were told she was not a service animal. Do you have any stories involving lambs and diapers? I think she posted a picture of a lamb in diapers
Okay.
before she posted this.
Must have
So
been.
anybody
I
got
don't-
anything
I don't know
funny?
Well, it kind of reminded me of one of those old spy movies where they walked up and said, "The lamb is wearing diapers."
Okay.
He knew exactly what to do.
All right, another question for you, and then we got to give away the. I read my book. I read my book. We decided we could save
Well, someone
money.
needed to read it.
Well, if y'all didn't hear
I
that,
go get around to read it one of
Tony
these days.
said someone needed to read it. That is not true. You've had to ship them all out.
I've
Okay.
written more books than I've read.
Well, I've read it page by page, but
I know it.
mm.
Okay. Oh, this is tough. Terry, Terrie, Berry. This is a question. Berry. Karen, please name one of your funniest exits on stage.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Funniest exits.
And Patrick says, ooh, that's a good one. Like we all have a funny exit.
I always have the entrances where you're doing a fundraiser and you're going to do comedy, and then they tell a very sad story, and then they go now for comedy, and then
yeah.
people are crying and
Some of you have noticed Carl is not here this year. Carl died last month.
Yeah.
I meant to tell that earlier, but now to make us laugh,
Now
Aaron Morgan.
comedy. I don't have any like I've never fallen off the stage, or like I wish I had. I've seen people fall off the stage before, but I've never done it.
Okay, you're 57, so
Yeah.
you remember Irma Bombeck.
Of course, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, if they're 37, they don't remember.
Oh.
And I just idolized her. But Lou Heckler, a friend of the three of us, saw her because, if you're in humor, I call myself a humorist, you call yourself a comedian. Same thing as far as the last thing you want to do is say something funny. I mean, when you're leaving, you want to say something funny.
Yeah.
And I have a place in my stage show where I ask for 3 questions. And I say, if I can't make the audience laugh with my answer, you win a prize. It's a sneaky way to remind them your prizes are in the lobby. And there you go. And I don't have questions planted. And but I don't put it at the end of the show. I got a funny story I'm telling at the end of the show. Well, Irma Bombeck said, I'll take 3 questions. It was a press conference. And she hit 1 home run. She hit another home run. And then the 3rd question, she didn't hit a home run. And she said, well, you know what? I'll take another question. She got a question. They burst out laughing. She walked to the side of the stage and winked and walked off. She wasn't leaving the stage without being funny.
She was a smart lady. Smart
She
lady.
was a smart lady, and she was so loved. And I got to meet her.
I got an exit story.
All right. Well,
where
we
it
want to
was-
hear it.
It was not really it was the end of the speech. I was speaking for the National Oil Well Administrators Association. So these are like accountant types, but they deal with oil leases, or as we say in the South, oil leases.
Oh.
And so I was standing in front of the stage, had my guitar sitting on the stage, laying on the stage, and I'm selling CDs back when you did that after shows. And a woman who was on the stage, the head table was on the stage, and she was a board member, and she said, I want to buy a CD. And I said, great, come on down. Well, she didn't see the big step there, and it was a big woman. And she missed that step, and she landed, violently right on top of my guitar. And I watched it as if slow motion. It splintered, and paint chips flew up in the air. And I just purchased that guitar.
Oh,
I had it with me today because I'll show you where the crack was. And everybody turned. And so I quickly got the guitar and slid it under the stage because she didn't realize that she had crushed my guitar. Thank God the meeting planner saw it, and she said, whatever it costs, we'll fix it. I found a luthier, which is a person who works on guitars in Graham, North Carolina, who fixed it for $116. I said, how in the world do you make a living charging this little? Turns out he didn't. He's out of business.
Oh, no. The things that happened to you. Let me tell you this about my hat. Where'd you get your hat?
I got
Karen,
my
where'd
hat.
you get your?
I got this one in Maine. We have a shop here called Queen of Hats.
And they're still in business.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was Miss North Carolina, hats were in style. And I got a lot of hats, but the places that were supposed to give me clothes could not fit me because I was 6'2", and I got hats and gloves and purses and all that kind of stuff. But a few years ago, I spoke at the Red Hat. Every week I have to try out one news story. I spoke at the Red Hat International. Y'all have Red Hatters in Maine?
I know of Red Hatters. I don't know that we have any in Maine. I'm probably going to get fussed at. But, yeah.
Well, don't you worry. We got enough down here to cover Maine too. And these are people that wear red and purple. And the convention had 3,500 women, and we were at Opryland. And they said, Did you bring a hat? Did you bring a hat? And I said, well, you know what? I meant to, but I didn't bring a hat because I've been traveling. We'll go down into the exhibits.
Oh,
Well, every red hat I tried on, I said, I'm not. And then I saw this purple hat, not knowing that you wear a purple hat your birthday month.
oh,
So I bought this hat, and I was going to put it on stage in this red box and just show it, but I wasn't going to try to keep it on for the whole speech. And I walked right out of the exhibits, and people started, happy birthday to you. These women just want to have a good time. So when she called me, I said, now what's the purpose? You know, how you go through these questions. What is the purpose of the meeting? What do you expect for me to do? And she said, well, these ladies just want to have a good time, but we prefer this year if you could do something that lets them have a good time, but can you teach them something or do something too? We'd like to put a little seriousness in the convention. And then she said, oh, but wait, you know what? That's our breakfast meeting, and they come in pajamas. I'm on the phone, and I said, okay, do you still want to try to put in something serious? She said, oh, yes, they all wore pajamas. I just couldn't believe it. And I put this hat down on the floor, and they all stood and sang happy birthday. And I thought, you know what would be the best thing to do is just change my birthday. You know, just change it.
Thank you.
Okay, we're now going to give away for our big ending. We got this thing that Patrick and I did. I read my book, and there's 7 CDs in here, y'all. This is our big expensive item. It's like $35, but there's 7 CDs in there. And we ad-libbed on the book because we were in the closet upstairs. And it just was, we did save money though, didn't we, Patrick?
I love how you say we. Yes, you saved a lot of money.
Oh, okay. But you get a percentage.
Yes, I do.
And now we're going to give away this. And if you don't like the CDs, it's an audio and it's 7 hours plus. Please take it to somebody who needs to lift, and maybe one of the places where people live and they haven't been able to get out, and they can swap it off. And so can their caregivers do the same thing. This is going to be for this prize. Okay. If your name was drawn earlier, you did not win this. That saves you a lot of time, didn't it, Tony?
They understand.
Okay.
They need to. Have you put up where they email? I think you have, Patrick. Tony at JeanneRobertson.com. Every once in a while, people have trouble with that email and it bounces back. So if so, Patrick, they can also email at Tony Listen, TONILISTEN @outlook.com.
I remember when we thought that was so clever. We had 2 emails, Jeannie Talk and Tony Listen.
It was when email first started, and you had to only use 10 letters.
That's right.
And so Jeannie came up with Jeannie Talk, and then for me, Tony
Listen. Okay, here's our winner of the Big Super audiobook. If you were here, you'd be drawing this out. Okay, Vivian Harrington from Whispering Pines, North Carolina.
All right.
Vivian Harrington.
Doesn't that sound like a television?
You know, I know you haven't picked up a Maine accent, but when I listen to you, you'll say y'all, but I don't really hear a real Southern accent.
Oh, I do.
You do?
I do, and people here do.
Oh, they're from Maine.
They were glad she hadn't lost her Southern accent.
No, when you're on when you're on your every Tuesday podcast, you enunciate more. I try to. That's even a big word to say.
That's a high-class podcast.
It's very fancy.
Can
Very
you do any accent other than Southern? I really can't.
I can't. I really
But you can
can't.
tune yours up.
No. And I try, and I don't make fun of Maine accents because when people up here try to do a Southern accent, it is not good. So I don't.
Does it sound like a scene out of Gone with the Wind?
Just like, no, y'all, just stop, y'all. So no, I don't try to do theirs, and they don't try to do mine. So that's all.
You can give them a hint. Don't ever say how you all doing, because nobody says you all doing. It is.
I do correct
y'all.
people that can't spell y'all. They put the apostrophe in the wrong place. That I have. That's one of my pet peeves, and I do correct people about how they spell it.
I go Y apostrophe.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Where else can you put that?
A lot of people do the YA.
YA, and that's not right.
No, that's not right.
Yeah,
you're correct.
No, that doesn't work. I'll tell you what, this has been so much fun. I predict so many things for you. For one reason, when I first saw you several years ago, you stood in one spot and never really moved. It's like you hid in the curtain. And now, girlfriend, you're coming out there and letting them have it. I love that. And I just wish you're just developing your style, and it's just great. If I can ever help you, let me know.
Well, I'm so happy. And thank you.
Clap, 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 clap all over the nation for Karen Morgan.
Karen Morgan.
Thank you.
Oh, thank y'all for having me. Everybody happy.
I wish you'd gone to Auburn. Do you wish you'd gone to Auburn?
Hey,
Tony?
I was also born in Athens, Georgia, remember?
Oh, that's right. And one of my relatives was the first president. He got a big picture over there. We don't talk about that.
No, well, I lived there 3 weeks, so I don't talk about it either.
And I lived in Boston a week. Okay. Thank y'all. And thank you, Karen Morgan. You are a delight. Your class shows through, and so does your sense of humor. Have a great week.
She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne